And today's adventure is going to start off with a weather check. Look at what a beautiful day it is. We've got the snow on the ground from our Christmas Eve snowstorm. Not too much snow. They were predicting a little bit more than what we got, but it's still on the ground and it made for a nice white Christmas. It's a beautiful evening. We have the sun setting right behind the trees there. Wonderful shot. It looks like a beautiful night to get out and go do a fun adventure, doesn't it? Well, unfortunately, thanks to 2020, everything is closed. But that's okay because my resolution for 2021 was to be in front of the camera a little more than I have been over the last 2.5 years or so since I've been doing this, to make more of a connection with my audience and help folks get to know me, Tommy Travels, a little bit better. And so that's what this adventure is going to be, right here in the old apartment, a few things about me. So this should be pretty interesting. Hopefully it'll go well. It's very different than what I normally do, but sometimes you gotta step outside of the comfort zone, and that's what we're gonna do today. So welcome to another edition of Tommy Travels. It's Tommy Travels. Come on with me, you guys. Let's go see what there is to see. Alright, and here we are. And if you have made it this far into the video, if you could do me a favor and just go ahead and hit that like button, that would be sweet. And then also, here is the very first question that I'm most often asked by folks who want to know things about Tommy Travels. And by the way, I know I kind of look like a raccoon today. I've not been sleeping too well because I've been up late and then having to get up early to go to work. My schedule's been a little bit messed up, and so I have not been sleeping like I should. So, raccoon face. There you go. You're welcome. Well, to be honest, I didn't know much about YouTube before I started my channel. In fact, I didn't know much about it until I moved into this apartment and got one of those big smart TVs where you can also access things like Netflix and YouTube and a whole bunch of other streaming services. And so one day I decided, hey, let's see what's on YouTube. Just started scrolling through some channels and watching some videos, and I came across a guy named Adam the Woo. And he had this thing called The Daily Woo, and that's what his channel is called, is The Daily Woo. And it was called that because he is from Florida, and he decided to quit his job, leave everything, get into a van, and start touring the country and just doing adventures at different roadside attractions and museums and events taking place all throughout the country. And he just decided to risk it all and just go for it. And it paid off for him. He's got a fairly big channel now. He's doing quite well, I must say. He's got a place in Los Angeles and in Florida. And he still is just a joy to watch his adventures. Great guy. And I noticed that I was going to work and coming home and watching TV and watching YouTube and not much of anything else. And after watching enough of Adam the Woo, I was like, I could do something like that. I could do that. I may not be able to travel all over the country and quit my job and all of that kind of stuff, but I could get out of the house and go find museums. There's all sorts of places around Minnesota where I could make adventures happen. And so that's what I decided to do. It was not easy. To tell you the truth, it was not easy. I knew nothing about YouTube. I learned by doing. That's the only way I could figure it out, because there's no classes or anything that you can take about how to do a YouTube channel. Well, you kind of could virtually on YouTube. There's plenty of stuff that you can find, but I didn't know back then. I was just a rookie. And so if you look back at my very first adventure, it's an abandoned garage adventure. I don't even think I labeled that as my first adventure, because it was really just a test to see if I could go get something from my phone onto an editing platform and then onto YouTube. So if you watch the adventure, there was a lot of abandoned building type of adventures that I had been watching channels do out there. It was kind of a big thing right then, and I decided to do a little spoof of that. So I went out to my garage, pulled the car out, and I was like, an abandoned garage! Can you believe that? Just out here in front of that beautiful tree sits this abandoned garage. You could tell it's been abandoned too. There are leaves on the ground. Those leaves used to be over here on the trees outside there, but now they're over here. That gives you an idea just how long this garage has been abandoned. I found it quite funny. Didn't get a lot of views, but that wasn't the point. The point was, could I get the video out? And I did. So that was my very first learning opportunity. And then I needed to figure out how to use this editor. And so I figured out, hey, there must be some YouTube videos on that. So I learned about how to do the editing, and then decided that I needed to get a camera, because my phone, at the time, it wasn't this phone, it was an older phone, didn't have enough memory to do these adventures that I was doing. So I got a separate camera, had to learn about cameras, had to learn about microphones, had to learn about all sorts of things. So if you're going to start a YouTube channel, if you haven't already, there's a lot of learning to do, and it never ends. Right, Nomadic Hippie? The learning never ends, and that's what makes it fun. Well, there's a lot of places that I would like to go, obviously. There's all the Disney and Universal Studio stuffs on both coasts, and there's all sorts of things in between, but the number one thing on my bucket list is Pigeon Forge, Tennessee and Gatlinburg, Tennessee. They're kind of right next to each other. I think it started as one and then kind of expanded over into the other. Here's an interesting trivia question. Do you know who is from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee? Ding, 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 ding. Okay. Give up? It's her, right there. Yes, Ms. Dolly Parton. And Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, I've seen Adam the Woo and the Carpetbagger. They go, Jacob the Carpetbagger, he's a good friend of Adam the Woo, and I watch his videos as well. They go there all the time. And it's kind of like the Wisconsin Dells of Tennessee, where it's a whole collection of awesome adventures. There's a Ripley's Believe It or Not down there. Of course, Dollywood is down in that area. There's a ton of things that you can do, and I want to go down there and get some adventures in. I love Wisconsin Dells, but I have done a lot of things out there, and I need to expand my territory. So if I could go to one place in the country right now, just zip myself over there and start doing some adventures, that's where I would want to go. Yes, I would love to do YouTube full time. To do like Adam the Woo and have a home base somewhere, but be able to travel around the country and go to different roadside attractions and stay at different cool places. Especially, you saw what it looks like outside with the snow on the ground. It would be nice to walk outside to some beautiful weather during a January or February like they can do in Florida, and just be able to go out and see the whole country and have the whole country as my stomping grounds. I would love that. Will that happen? Well, I've been doing this for 2.5 years plus now, and my channel hasn't exactly blown up. So I don't know that this will be anything more than a hobby really for me. Unless some kind of a miracle happens where it blows up for some reason. I don't know. You never know when you can put out a video that takes off and people connect with it and start watching more of your stuff. But you never know if that's going to happen or when. So far, it hasn't happened, so I'm not too terribly convinced that this channel is ever going to be a big deal. But I like what I'm doing. It gets me out of the house. It gets me seeing different things that I wouldn't ordinarily do. I meet awesome people and make awesome friends. So whether it becomes a full-time gig or it doesn't become a full-time gig, I'm not going to quit because I do it because I love it, not for the money. Well, thank you all for sticking around with me today and learning a few things about Tommy Travels. I've never done an adventure like this on this channel. I used to have another channel called Tommy Travels the Second, where I used to do different things like this on there all the time because it was a daily channel and I couldn't do adventures every single day. And with everything being closed, it looks like there may be some more adventures like this coming up in the near future, at least until some things start opening up again. I seriously thought I was gonna miss my first Saturday in 2.5 years, but lucky you, we got this today. So if you like this style of video from me, Tommy Travels, even though I'm supposed to be out traveling, I'm here. If you still liked this kind of adventure, let me know. And possibly we'll do more adventures like this rather than having nothing with everything being closed. And so thank you guys all for sticking around with me today and for all of the support that you've given me so far. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit like, hit the old subscribe button. And until next time, I hope to catch you on the flip side. I've done a lot of things that I never thought I would do before I started this YouTube channel. But there is a place in a... Well, I don't know that I'm really qualified to give advice because I'm a complete idiot. I'm gonna build a house up there. It'll be great. The man that we're looking for is half man, half hippopotamus, and half raccoon. Hang on, that's too many halves right there.